Expressing with presence. May 20, 2014. It is well known that one of the most difficult things to do while communicating with others is expressing yourself clearly and effectively. How often have you experienced saying something that didn't come out the way you wanted? Or, how many times have you said something out of character, something you really didn't mean, but became too frustrated to bring an end to the rush of words that were spilling forth from your mouth? Many dear souls have a great fear of any form of confrontation. Even the simplest hello is unnerving. So many of your fellow brothers and sisters of God fear that they may say something that will cost them a friendship or burn a bridge with one that has been shaky to begin with. What some people tend to do in their fear to express themselves is bottle everything up in a tight little compartment inside of them, and the mere thought of sharing a part of themselves causes a lot of unneeded stress. Being able to share and to express yourself effectively and clearly can be a very difficult challenge to overcome. However, even the fear of communicating and expressing yourself effectively and respectfully is very much possible. Try to keep in mind that every single person that lives upon this beautiful planet participates in some form of communication. And the more complicated the way of communication will create more complicated relationships as well. In case many of you do not know what areas I work within, please understand that besides being the showman of the fourth ray of light, I also work within the throat chakra, the place where speech and communication stems from. Try to imagine how complicated speech is, and to communicate your thoughts into words from one diverse group of people to the next, each with their own set of beliefs, values and concerns. There are so many different ways available to express yourself with. From dreams, to feelings, suggestions to intents, love, and even rage and so on. When you consider certain words such as usual, big, small, normal, humongous, tiny, tall or any other word similar, they all describe size, but each one has its own definition and conveys different meanings to different people depending on how you compare and understand the differences. You can easily compare a small brown ant being tiny compared to a hippopotamus, but when you compare the hippopotamus to a planet within the vast universe, that hippo becomes just as small by comparison. Of course, words have meaning to you and they may very well be different from what your friend, neighbor, brother, husband or fellow brother and sister of God may think. Words have the ability to be more powerful than any other weapon, especially in relationships. One misplaced word can bring hardship, possibly ruin to any relationship, platonic or otherwise. Therefore, it is essential that you learn how to express yourself clearly and effectively. Learn to share your thoughts, your ideas, aspirations, dreams, and even your emotions with those that share your life in any shape or form, creating a bond based on trust. It is your responsibility to learn how to communicate effectively with all people, but more so with those you love. Your inability to learn how to use your speech well will end up bringing hardship to your relationships. There are some pitfalls for not being able to express yourself well. If you usually fear to interact with people, you will give off a certain amount of low energy, a kind of energy that doesn't invite or attract others to you. In fact, the more fear you have of communicating with people, the more they will end up avoiding you. It can become an ugly cycle. For the most part, the avoidance of people because of the fear they will hurt you or make fun of you won't be seen as fear but as standoffish, possibly stuck up. Depending on the energy you're emitting, you'll either attract others to you or repel them. Being unable to open up to others can cause others to think that you are unfriendly. If you tend to bottle things up inside of you, you'll have trouble getting close to people, and any relationships you do manage to make will be thin and superficial, not the kind of long-lasting, loving and compassionate friendship you deserve. Being unable to express yourself clearly and effectively will become a burden during times of hardship and trouble. Sometimes you will need to seek the help of others, possibly strangers, and if you are unable to ask for help unfortunately doesn't come, then what often results is you feeling resentful, hurt, and angry. Asking for help from others, regardless if they are friends or strangers, does require courage, as you are extending yourself on the simple basis of trust of the purest form. There are many quite willing to help you, dear ones. All you need to do is simply ask. Not being able to communicate well can create isolation due to the protective walls that you've created out of fear of expressing yourself. People leave you alone. And even if that was your original intention, you may not have realized that these walls, if not removed, become thicker and cultivate a barren existence, one that is lonely and often empty. Life is meant to be shared with others, to build relationships. They help you gather strength whenever you feel weakness. They are a source of joy, happiness and growth. Even if they bring moments of sadness, they brought you just as many moments of happiness. Regardless if you are with your partner, children, friends, neighbors, co-workers, relatives, cashier, bank teller, yourself, or even with God, being able to express yourself well is essential. Your always working brain makes it extremely easy for you to talk with or without presence or intention behind the words you may choose to say. Sometimes you may talk only to kill time, break the uncomfortable silence, or to bring attention to yourself, even though in truth you have nothing of importance to say. It is understood that cordial greetings and certain general inquiries all have their own importance and place within your ability to speak and express yourself. Have you ever thought about the importance of the rest of what you talk about? Does much of what you have to say or share have any significance to where you are sharing it? What does it serve? Are you expressing just to be heard, or because you have something similar of relevance? Talking and sharing does bring you closer to others, but superficial and shallow speech will only bring you superficially closer. There would be no depth or meaning. Shared experiences can become deep if all people are present, really there, with the sharing and experiencing of one another. Your conversation then takes on a whole different quality as a bond is created. A feeling of unity and connectedness fills your being, even if it's only for the few moments it took to share what you felt compelled to. When someone is sharing with you, sharing something that is important and of value to them, it is just as important to treat what they are saying and sharing with respect, honoring that what they are sharing is important, even if you have some reservations, don't quite follow or understand. You can feel their aliveness, their vital energy, and know that for them what they are sharing is important. For many dear souls, the act of communication is primarily used in your occupations, used only to make a living to support your cost of living. Being able to speak clearly and effectively also requires you to be able to listen, to be supportive when necessary and empathetic when needed. Communication between more than yourself requires an equal listening and speaking to take place and to be present in both. When you are demonstrating yourself in presence, the words you communicate and express will have a much different effect than just being there, not in presence. When you are present during any interaction, you are able to give more attention to what is being shared. You are less distracted with what is going on in your head and from any inner reactions you may be feeling. You become more interested in what others are sharing and talking about. To go even further, being present will change the content of any communication or interaction you may be a part of. It is well understood, dear ones, that the more present you are, the more aware you become of not just what you are saying but also what you are hearing and of its meaning. When you are in presence, you have more contact with your heart and mind, and most importantly with your conscience. So when you are in presence you make less errors, you are able to convey what you mean when appropriate, and have a greater chance of getting your message across the way you intended, as well as having a better chance of being more supportive and less hurtful with the words you choose to express. Being present provides you with the incredible ability to be flexible, and to be able to bring balance during the ups and downs communication with others can bring. When you are in presence, you are truly there at that moment, nowhere else. Your focus is within the conversation, within the sharing that is happening, and during this moment you are able to with verve stand behind what you say and speak with confidence and tact. You are able to hear what you are saying and become more aware of certain thoughts trying to slip out of your mouth. If you are not aware of what you are saying and those words do slip out of your mouth, the ones that you didn't intend on, can easily be reciprocated by others when you have something to share and what you have said goes by with little notice. By demonstrating trust, respect and kindness in your communications and interactions, others will comply the same. Treat others even during your interactions the way you want to be treated, by listening and speaking clearly, effectively and with tact. Remember, dear ones, presence starts with focus and attention. To communicate in presence will bring more focus and attention to the very act of communicating and interacting, to what you are trying to convey, and from what you are hearing. Communicating effectively is also about quality, being able to express yourself eloquently, with clarity and compassion. There is nothing you cannot do or change if you truly want to. Communication is a huge part of your life, and it is never perfect as it always needs some fine-tuning, love, and attention. Instead of communication repelling people, make communication your vehicle of bringing you and others together with trust, respect, and appreciation, having key roles. And so it is. I am Ascended Master, El Morya through Julie Miller. spiritualnetworks.com